Beyond, this is my review for The Wolf Among Us Episode 1 and Episode 2. The footage you'll be seeing is taken entirely for my own gameplay. Now that I've gotten a game capture card, makes it a lot easier to actually create videos that are entirely my own, and not taken from anybody else's. So with that said, let's get into the review. The Wolf Among Us is at its strongest when it's channeling that feel of those timeless black and white detective stories set in a small corner of New York City. Now this small corner, however, is occupied by fairy tales, and you control Sheriff Bigby Wolf, the big bad wolf of Little Red Riding Hood and Three Little Piggies. Now despite being called Sheriff, you're much more of the smoking loner detective found in many of those noir films. Snow White even fulfills the purpose of the beautiful dame, who accompanies Bigby on his investigations. Now the characters you come across are generally unique, partially thanks to it being based off of source material, the Fables graphic novel series. Graphically, it's in the same style as The Walking Dead, which is great since I really enjoy cel-shaded games. While you have the standards of the Big Bad Wolf, Snow White, and the Woodsman, other lesser-known fables are included, such as Faith, Grendel, and Bluebeard, some of which I actually had to look up on Wikipedia to find out where they come from. Now, all of these fables are also cataloged in a database that you can access at any time, in case you desire to brush up on who these characters are, and also fill in some backstory. Now, the world these characters occupy is pretty well done, with twists to familiar tales and explanations that make fairy tale characters living amidst humans in a big city more believable. Glamours are spells given to characters whose natural appearance don't fit in with the Mundies, which are regular humans, and they must be bought. Those who cannot afford them are forced to live on a farm upstate. You'll also come across various hints at an exodus that serves as the reason why all of these characters are living in New York City and not in their original homes. Though it remains to be seen if this will ever be fully explained or left up to the player to look into by reading the Fables comic. Now, two games that came to mind when playing The Wolf Among Us are LA Noire and The Walking Dead Season 1. Both for fairly obvious reasons. The murder mystery that makes up The Wolf Among Us' main plot, and the many interrogations and crime scene surveys you undertake as Bigby, bring about memories of LA Noire and the many cases I solved in it. Bigby will come across locations that contain items to scan to put together an idea of what happened in the scene and where to go next. When you're not exploring the small areas given to you, you're walking and talking to other characters and making choices in what you're going to say, what you're going to reveal, or if you're simply going to stay silent. Now, these dialogue decisions will either hurt or help your relationship with others, though the consequences of my actions haven't become apparent as of yet. In my playthrough, I went with the classic gruff detective, who's pretty much a dick to everybody, but slowly softens up over the course. Now, The Wolf Among Us does contain the same drawbacks as The Walking Dead, mainly that, despite your decisions, the overall story doesn't change. It's mostly the characters' reactions that change with your dialogue decisions. Choosing what to say to characters you hate, which the game delivers in heaps and droves, is satisfying, since the sheriff, you can almost do whatever you want, whether it's wrecking someone's club or telling the prick mayor to fuck off. Now, this game has a lot of mature content, from the various curse words strewn casually into sentences, and the surprising nudity I came across midway through Episode 2, the most mature content part is probably the utterly brutal way some of the fights can go. An axe is put through an head, an arm can be entirely ripped off, and eyes are gouged out. However, due to the Fables being near immortal, having resided in the woodlands for hundreds of years, they can take a lot of damage. These fights are mostly quick-time events and follow the same pattern throughout. Line up the cursor with the prompt on screen and press the appropriate button. They aren't super engaging, but they're also not annoying. It's merely an adequate way to keep the player engaged during these scenes. Both episodes end on a cliffhanger that make waiting for the next pretty hard. I found playing them one after the other was actually a bit strenuous, and I would instead recommend playing them as they come out, just in small bursts. This means that you won't get tired of the gameplay. Overall though, The Wolf Among Us is great. The dialogue choices are engaging, and the fights are fun to see play out. However, the lack of input I have on the overall story is a bit disappointing, and holds it back from being even better. Overall though, I would give The Wolf Among Us an 8.5 out of 10.
He's had enough.
So that's my review for The Wolf Among Us, Episode 1 and Episode 2. If you liked it, you can like the video, subscribe to our channel, check out our SoundCloud account. We'll be building up podcasts every week as we have been for the past 13 weeks. Also, check out our other videos. You can check out my own personal channel where I've been doing Oreo reviews in the vein of Greg Miller's Oreo Oration. And you can look forward to a bunch of other video content we'll be putting out. Hopefully we'll have a Tomb Raider Definitive Edition review for PlayStation 4 out soon as well. And so that's all I have for you, so thanks for watching and take care.